currently dealing with imposter syndrome, you're most likely experiencing stress, anxiety, and low self-esteem as a side effect. So how do we overcome this? How do we overcome this feeling of being an imposter and trusting in ourselves and the value that we bring? Well, make sure that you keep watching because in this video, we're going to cover all of this and more. Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Pichardo and I'm a certified transformational coach. And on this channel, I go over all the different topics that I review with my clients, as well as some tips that I provide them. So if this sounds like something that you'd be interested in, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and you join the family. In this video, we're going to talk about how to overcome imposter syndrome. And since you clicked on this video, I'm assuming that you have some understanding of what imposter syndrome is, but you should never assume. So if you want to learn more or have a better understanding of what imposter syndrome is, click on this link up here so you can watch my video from last week. In this video, we go over what imposter syndrome is, 4 key factors that contribute to imposter syndrome, and 6 potential characteristics that link to imposter syndrome. So you can go and watch that and then come back to this video and you can watch the next part, which is us talking about how to overcome this. So to overcome imposter syndrome, you must first understand that imposter syndrome is a mindset. It all starts with the narrative that you create in your head. So to overcome this, you must change your way of thinking. You must change the way of how you see yourself and acknowledge all the things you've overcome in your life and what you've accomplished. Now, I know that this can be really difficult to do. Like, come on. Please give me a thumbs up or leave a comment below if you also dread self-review time at the end of the year or those mid-year reviews at work. Like, that's definitely me. I don't really like to talk about myself. I mean, I am a coach. I love to focus on others and help other people with their problems. But honestly, that put aside, you know, when this does come up at work, it's almost as if I can't remember what I've accomplished and I minimize the things that I have done. So if you fall into this category as well, or if you struggle with acknowledging the things that you've done in your life, here are a few methods you can try to overcome imposter syndrome and acknowledge your successes. The first method is an exercise, and it's creating a timeline of your accomplishments or things that you've overcome. You can look back at the past year, or you can look back at the past 3 months. That's up to you. But I love this exercise. It's helped so many of my clients, myself included. I remember the first time I did this, I went in thinking I hadn't really made much progress that year or really accomplished much. But once I finished, the facts were in black and white. The fact was that I had done so much that year, but because I was constantly moving, I didn't really realize how much I'd done. And it also looked different to what I was expecting. And anyone who's been following me for a while knows how I feel about expectations. You gotta let them go. It's one of the biggest contributors to unhappiness. Now, I don't have a video on expectations yet, but I did write a blog post on this. So if this is something that you're interested in learning more about, you can check the link below and it's all about expectations. Now, when you're creating this timeline, I find it best to put your feelings aside and just state facts. If you start letting your feelings get involved, you may start to overthink and contemplate, is this an accomplishment? Is that an accomplishment? And if you start to do that, I can guarantee you'll skip over some important moments that deserve to be on that list. Now, once you've completed your timeline, take a step back and look at everything that you've accomplished or everything you've overcome. And I can guarantee that doing this will help begin that process of eliminating the feeling of being an imposter. Another really great exercise you can do is to teach someone your expertise. You never really understand how much you know until you have to walk someone else through it. This is great for someone who may be struggling with self-doubt. If you saw my last video on imposter syndrome and you remember the 6 characteristics that we went through, this exercise would be great for that person who needs to feel special or be the very best at something, or that person who has Superman or Superwoman aspects, or the person dealing with denial of confidence and discounting the praise from others. Now, when completing this exercise, a lot of the times you walk out of the conversation thinking to yourself, like, wow, I didn't realize how much I knew, or wow, yeah, I knew I had that in me. I can tell you that even after going through all the certification process or programs that I went through and coaching so many different clients, I still have moments of self-doubt and thinking, am I even really good at this? But then I get on a coaching call and I see how much I'm helping my clients and everything that they're getting from these calls and the positive feedback I get from past clients. And I have those moments and those moments of realization that I'm like, yeah, okay, I know what I'm doing. I need to trust in myself and my abilities and know that I'm in the right place. So trust me, this is another really great exercise to try. Third is to remember that you're not alone. If you recall in my last video, 70% of people will experience at least one episode of imposter syndrome in their life. So the next time that this feeling comes up, remember that, maybe your boss or your coworker or your friends or your family members, they're possibly going through the same feeling as well, or has at least felt this way once in the past. Now, lastly is to ask for help. As I just mentioned, you're not going through this alone. And if you find your imposter syndrome to be debilitating, you need to talk to someone. Talk to a friend, talk to a mentor, family member. You can also seek help from a coach like myself or a licensed therapist. But what's most important is to remember that you're not alone and you don't have to go through this alone. Now, everything you go through has a positive intention. Every behavior or habit that you have is meant to protect you, even the bad ones, because they're there comforting you and they're making you feel good. That is its positive intention. I mean, it doesn't mean that the habit is good, but it has a positive intention. And same for experiences. Every experience that you have, it's there to serve as a lesson for you to grow from. Remember, everything is happening for you, not happening to you. So we can say the same for imposter syndrome. But imposter syndrome not only has a positive intention, some people actually see it as a good thing. Some people feel like this is something that we should be aiming for. Rich Litvin, an amazing life coach and author, states in his book, The Prosperous Coach, that imposter syndrome is a good thing and to never get rid of it. Litvin believes that if you don't feel like an imposter, you're not reaching high enough. You're not playing big enough. One of the lines that I love from his book is, if you're the most interesting person in the room, you're in the wrong room. It really gives you perspective, right? And it makes you think differently of imposter syndrome. If you think about it from Litvin's point of view, the moment you feel comfortable is the moment you need to level up. He emphasizes how important it is to always surround yourself around people who are experts in the game. And by doing this, they'll help challenge you and your way of thinking and grow your mindset. And it'll most likely feel uncomfortable in the moment, but it's the uncomfortable moments that help you grow. I know there's a saying, and I think it's a popular one. It says to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I think that's the point that Litvin is trying to make here. I personally feel like imposter syndrome is not a bad thing, to a certain extent. I agree with Litvin. If you're not feeling like an imposter, you're not playing big enough. It's natural to feel like an imposter when you're beginning a new chapter, a new career, a new position, you're at a new school, a new city. In this case, I personally believe this is a good feeling. It indicates that you're growing and you're challenging yourself. Now, where I draw the line is when imposter syndrome becomes debilitating, when you feel paralyzed from it. If it doesn't motivate you, but instead it makes you start sabotaging your success, this is when it's time for you to try one of the methods that we just reviewed so that you can overcome this. But most importantly, be honest with yourself. If you need help, that's okay. There's no weakness in asking for help. I actually think that it's strong for individuals to know when it's time to seek for guidance and ask for help so that they can push forward from what's holding them back. Okay guys, so I hope this two-part series on imposter syndrome has really been helpful and has shed some light and eased any stress that you may have had in this area. And if you want someone to talk to and you're seeking some guidance, feel free to reach out and schedule a complimentary call with me. I promise there's no pressure to make a commitment. I'm really just here to provide that first level of clarity for you. So I'll leave that link below if that is something that you're interested in. So thank you again for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit that like button if you did. And if you're not part of this family yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. There's so much great content here. So make sure that you subscribe and you join the family. Until next time, bye.